The combination of genealogies with the bower and the garden in our readings for this week reminds us of the importance of memory and marriage in Spenser's poetry, and the connection between the two in an ethos of intergenerational sustainability. The Bower of Bliss's controlled artificiality emanates from the enchantments of Acrasia, a figure of incontinence or lack of control over one's objectification of others, a paradoxical state of self-involvement and limitation due to one's lack of empathy. Acrasia exerts a kind of master-slave control over her loves through enchantment. While she is figured as an evil female ruler in the poem, it's good to remember also that Sir Gawain's quest for temperance comes at the command of an even more powerful female ruler, that of the Fairy Queen. In the Garden of Adonis, by contrast, we see the poem's framing of a view of healthy love, at the center of which is the coming together of male and female as Adonis and Venus. Adonis is described as subject to mortality, yet eternal in mutability, father of all forms, yet part of matter. Amoret grows up here, and at the end of the canto, her future love and marriage to Sir Scudamore is described. Historically, Amoret and Scudamore have been seen as figures of Queen Elizabeth's lady-in-waiting, Elizabeth Throckmorton, and Spenser's poet friend and Irish neighbor, Sir Walter Raleigh. The Queen was angered by their secret marriage, and Walter, previously a Queen's favorite, was banished from court. Scudamore's name, by the way, which means shield of love, was also that of another famous Elizabethan courtier, Sir James Scudamore, who was considered a model of chivalry, and whose suit of armor is on display today at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Originally, when Spenser finished the first three books of his poem, he ended with an embrace between Amoret and Scudamore, in which they were described as so entwined to be like an hermaphrodite figure from mythology. Yet he changed this when he finished the poem's 7 books before his death. In the final version, Amoret and Scudamore, whose marriage had been disrupted by the enchanter Buzarain, trying to take away Amoret's ability to love by objectifying her, are separated again. They continue to try to get together, but this is left unresolved. Maybe the first version was a too simple resolution of the paradoxes of love in the poem. Indeed, nature at the end of the Fairy Queen will be gendered feminine, but will be described as wearing a veil and not clearly a man or woman. But marriage in Spenser always involves not merely the merging of male and female, but also the mystery of the relation between human beings and the transcendent yet embodied other, Christ. Scudamore and Amoret can't overcome Buzarain alone without Britomart's battle-tested chastity, which recognizes what Britomart in the poem calls the wretchedness of life. It's not a simple happy ending. Remember that the overarching characters of Arthur and the Fairy Queen never get together in the poem. Even though Red Cross Knight and Una are married, Red Cross must go on to pursue his quest on behalf of the Fairy Queen, while Una rules her mythical realm of Eden. Likewise must Artegall continue his quest when he and Britomart become betrothed. Yet we know that from the offspring of Artegall and Britomart in the poem will come both Queen Elizabeth and Tanaquil, who paradoxically is the Fairy Queen as well, and an historical name of a mythical ancient Etruscan queen renowned for virtue. Thus the poem suggests that we are part of our environment and in networks beyond it at the same time. Amoret and Scudamore's story is continued beyond the poem's book of chastity in the next book, on friendship, which involves networks of community. And remember that Amoret's name parallels the title Amoretti of Spenser's other poem about his wooing of his wife, also named Elizabeth. Likewise, the genealogies of humans and elves leading to Queen Elizabeth serve as a reminder that our lives are worked out in networks of memory that are relational, both embodied and transcendent, an ecosemiotic idea of nature text. Such networks form the support for our lives as expressing empathetic sustainability, socially and environmentally, in poetry.